Okay, this is Red Randy back again. On my last video, I told y'all, my plan for taking this back floor pan out here in the trunk. Well, whenever I started cutting this out, cut this section out, I had some rust along this side here, so I had to go ahead and cut the whole thing out. I replaced this piece of metal in here where the rust was at, and I went ahead and cut this side out too, and found my spot welds and cut them out, and then just pulled the little angle I left in there, pulled it out. And and two, I need to go ahead and sandblast this down here on both sides, clean it up, because rust will fool you. Make sure that it's all good and solid before I go putting the new stuff over it. But I think it's going to be okay. The skirt down here, the bottom part, this is the only part I'd be worried about in here. Just make sure that's good and solid. And let me show y'all the spot weld tool I used. Chicago Electric. I got these from Harbor Freight, and I bought about 3 or 4 of them whenever I bought them. There's one still in the pack, and you can see on here that the cutter here, when it gets dull, you can take it off, turn it over, and you got another cutting edge on the bottom side. And I know a lot of people frown on Harbor Freight, but I've had good luck with those. They cut real good. You just drill you a pilot hole in the middle, and they'll cut it out. Okay, this cross member here, you can see right here where I added this little support here in the middle, and I put a flat washer on top. That's just when you put the floor pan over it and you put your bolt through there, there's nothing in here to keep the floor pan from just collapsing or tightening the bolt down into it. The original piece that was over here, the member, it had a reinforcement like this in it, and I just used a piece of 3/4 square tubing. 3/4 is big enough that it it don't interfere with the hole size there. And my plan is to get all this sandblasted and get everything cleaned up, make sure it's good to go ahead and put the new one in. But putting this in and then putting this panel over it. This panel, of course, don't have the attachment holes in it. So I came up with a plan. I took a screw like this, just a regular, screw with a large diameter head on it, and I took my grinder and trimmed it down to where it would fit in this support right here. It fits in there. Then I made a shim or a bushing out of just whatever I could find that was the size of this hole in the frame. So what I do is I stick this down in there and then put a nut on the bottom of it to hold it in place. That way I can put this support on that on both sides, and it locates it to the frame, so my bolt hole lines up. Then I'll locate this panel on top of that, and I'll sheet metal screw it to the panel. Then I can go back and back drill this hole through the panel, and then I know it'll line up. But I'll weld this, I'll drill holes and weld this to the panel, before I put it in and weld it. And this comes all the way up to the top of the little indentation here on the body right here. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of that angle they sent and go from here back with it, and to secure the panel too on both sides. Then whenever I go to the next piece, I'll just start on this side and contour the angle like I need it to fit the contour of the wheelhouse, and add the next the next panel, and go right on over to the seat riser. All right, well, maybe I covered what I wanted to on the video, but anyway, I'm going to get busy and go ahead and sandblast this stuff in here, get it cleaned up, and then I'll when we get everything ready, I'll show y'all me putting this on the panel and how I locate it and everything. But anyway, until next time, subscribe to the channel, give me a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think.